Are you a student who is currently taking up a research subject? Are you having a hard time understanding the textbook discussions on creating an effective research paper? Are you not satisfied with the discussions conducted by your research instructor? If your answer to these questions is a big yes, you are watching the right video. Good day mga kabalero. This video is the second part of this topic, focusing on creating the first chapter of a research paper. Examples are also provided as reference to those students who have difficulties finding a guide throughout the process. So let's get started. Prior art search is the second activity to undergo after determining and establishing the statement of the problem. This activity is a review of public papers such as patent and non-patent documents. And this process is necessary to decide whether your idea in mind is worth pursuing or not. And this step is a sensible starting point as it will allow the researcher to realize whether the invention or innovation is already known. Thus, it will also allow them to understand if the idea and method have been protected already. This activity is something that non-professional or professional researchers conduct in presenting the review of the related literature section of the research paper. Suppose after reviewing and synthesizing the related literature and studies from legitimate reference media, you found out that prior search or research is almost the same as your idea. A bell should ring telling you to step back and rethink of a different route to avoid wasting time and resources. Moreover, the information that can be obtained through prior art searches are the following. First is works that have been previously and recently conducted on a specific field of art. Second, methods and solutions to problems identified. Third is new and existing ideas or technologies used in solving the identified problems. Fourth, future works that the prior studies have disclosed for improvement or proposed ideas. Fifth is people or entities who are involved in the field of art. Sixth is the chronological development of the work in the field of art. Seven is the design of the output product. And finally, the answer to the question of whether to go or not to go with a particular idea. So the enumerated information that can be obtained are almost self-explanatory, but if you encountered any issues or you have a question in mind that you want to ask me, please use the comment section of the video for us to be able to resolve those problems or concerns. So I have reviewed multiple papers from different indexing sites such as Scopus, IEEE, Web of Science, and Google Scholar, and most of them provided significant insights, which I leveraged in conceptualizing my proposed system. And several opportunities were consolidated and assessed as those can be applied to the proposed study to enhance the existing fruit detection and classification system. By the way, I will be creating a video focused on how to search prior art, which were enumerated earlier, so please stay tuned on my channel. The idea and findings you will obtain from this activity are essential in building your review of related literature and studies, which is the major part of your chapter 2. As best practice, the more research you have read, the more effective your approach would be in creating a novel work to solve the problem. So before jumping into the steps of synthesizing the potential related literature of our study, allow me to show a quick and easy approach of searching via the internet. So if you are a newbie in research writing, I would recommend the use of Google Scholar as reference. Of course, there are tons of other indexing sites for review, but I will just create another video to show each of them and how to consolidate references using a literature management tool. So much for an overview. Now let me share my screen to provide a quick walkthrough. I previously mentioned about using Google Scholar if you are a newbie to creating a research paper. Now I'm on google.com, and what I need to do is open up Google Scholar. So you can just go into the search section of Google and then type in Google Scholar. You have that option available. So open this one, first option on the list. Clicking that up, it will open up scholar.google.com. And it is asking you to provide keywords of your choice. It depends on what are the things that you would want to search in the Google Scholar as your indexing reference field. So I have here several options or several keywords which I utilized in locating possible related literatures and studies for my work. Now I'll be selecting fruit, or I'll be selecting sorting machine, so that we'll be selecting the more general keyword. So as you can see, we have 899,000 results, and this is a lot, right? So for us to get a more specific searches, we would want to have like a more concise keyword. We are specific to fruit sorting, right? So I'll be adding fruit as one of our keywords. So fruit sorting machine, and now it's 52,600 versus the 899,000, right? So we can also add filters so that we can trim down this number. 52,000 is, or 600 is still a lot. Now we can use the custom range, and we can type in which year you would want the search to be running. So for example, we in research, our de facto is 5 years, right? The current 5 years as our reference materials. So that would be from 2017 up to 2022. All right, so clicking search, that's 52,000 previously. Now it's 16,200. It's still a lot. However, you can check on each of these items on the list, because but potentially there are several noise that you can find, like let's see, root sorting system, color detection, Internet of Things. So some of the items or some of the information that you can find here are not much related on your search or in your study. That is why you have to trim it down and make sure that you are using the right keywords for your selection. So this is just a quick activity on, or a walkthrough on how I utilize Google Scholar in searching for potential related literature on my study. So in my next video, I'll be utilizing several of the links here, such as this site icon, and we will be consolidating the potential related literatures on our study and be able to utilize them in the following methods that we'll be doing. All right, so let's go back to our presentation. Now, let me share two of the major literatures that I have reviewed in completing my paper. So as a preview of the activity, here are the steps that a researcher should perform during synthesis of the related literature and studies. So first is, what is the main purpose of the paper? Second, what is the ultimate goal for this research? Third, what is the contribution of this paper to the field? Fourth, how does this paper distinguish itself from others? Fifth, what are the limitations of the proposed approach in this paper? Sixth, are there any similar research papers available? If so, what is the difference between them? And number 8, is there any alternative solution or a better solution than the proposed scheme? I know this is a lot, but we will break it down into bits and pieces so that we will be able to understand the main purpose of the prior search. So the title of the main reference of my paper is The Automated Tomato Sorting Machine by Batra, Rewari, and H. So the main purpose and ultimate goal of the automated tomato sorting machine was the proposed system aims to develop a simple, efficient, and affordable tomato sorting machine that helps get good quality ripe tomatoes without any human error. The machine separates ripe and unripe tomatoes utilizing infrared, color, weight sensors, a microprocessor, a servo motor, and a conveyor system. So, for the contribution of the paper to the field, the researchers leveraged easy and essential devices to perform essential fruit detection and sorting operation that are helpful in the agriculture and market industry. For the novelty of the paper, detection and classification are already essential functions that majority of the industries are using based on numerous papers. However, what makes this study unique and stand out from others or the rest is its cost and simplicity. It has specific application to sorting fruits with almost the same maturity characteristics as tomatoes such as strawberry, cherry, cranberry, and red grapes. For the limitations, the performance of the system is very limited to the specifications offered by the infrared and color sensors. Further image processing and analysis are not applicable since the source of presence and color information do not provide the complete image of the tomato compared to a camera. For the comparison, sorting objects according to color primarily uses sophisticated image detection, image processing and classification, and sorting mechanism. They usually differ in the optical instruments used, image processing algorithm, and the application of the system to different practical purposes. Specifically, the significant difference is the decision part or the detection part of the system, where the researchers utilize low cost color sensor, where image processing is not applicable. So the paper opens for the observation. The paper opens possibilities of using cheap and simple devices to perform essential industry applications. And the system can potentially help small industries that do not have significant capital in implementing automation in their current setup. And researchers use individual parts for proximity and color detection. The researchers use first person narratives, which is unsuitable for writing a formal paper, and several grammatical errors, missing punctuations, and incorrect citation formats were observed on the paper. Those were just minor observations. So here are the insights that I've got from this paper. And the same idea of using low cost and simple devices will be implemented on my proposed system. So that's the acceptability of the equipment for small scale field growers that will be high. However, even though I will use cheap devices, I will ensure that they will perform better compared to the detection of the modular infrared sensors and color sensors, which were used by the automated tomato sorting machine. So for the alternative solution versus the proposed scheme, first is the solid state IR sensor modules are now available in the market and can be leveraged for improved performance versus the individual parts. There are low cost cameras such as webcams, the RGB cameras that offer better imaging performance and open more opportunities for further image processing and analysis. Third, the researchers should ensure to narrate in third person point of view. And lastly, the researchers should use tools like Grammarly to avoid committing basic errors in writing the paper and following suitable formats. So this is the second related study, which entitled Detecting Ripe Canarium ovatum or pili using ADABUS classifier and color analysis by Kapukaw and Palawag. So let me read through the main purpose and ultimate goal of the study. So the purpose of this study is to create an algorithm that could detect ripe or mature Canarium ovatum. The aim is to detect ripe pili fruits using ADABUS classifier and color analysis, specifically to establish a data set of Canarium ovatum with Phantom 4 professional drone attached with a 20 megapixel camera as a means of image acquisition. The study also conducted image manipulation using Photoshop and MATLAB, evaluated the algorithm's effectiveness and efficiency. So for the contribution of the paper, as what we did from our main reference or from our first reference of the study, let me read through several of the information using the activity bullet points. Second is the contribution of the paper to the field. The AdaBoost classification approach for the ripe pili detection using color images is novel. Bicol region needs innovations to enhance their indigenous products productivity, and one of them is pili. For the novelty of the paper, fruit detection and classification is a process in yield estimation that is not new in agriculture industry. Nevertheless, the use of digital image processing algorithm or the ADA boost to detect mature pili fruits is a breakthrough. Moreover, this study utilizes hair-like feature to extract the ripe pili fruits shape and texture in a natural setting. For the limitations, first is not only cultivated variety of pili was considered in the study, the drone camera captured only the top of the front and the front surface of the pili tree. And finally, only the mature pili fruits are detected using the algorithm, and further analysis of the remaining fruit was not considered. So next is the comparison. So most of the existing papers are also related to fruit detection and classification. The output of their work is relevant in automating the harvesting of the crops, estimating the yield, and managing the workforce in the post-production process. And the difference of the research of this research is the application where the approach is designed to detect mature pili fruits, which is an indigenous fruit that only exists in some areas in Asia. For the observations, first, the researcher or the research has provided significant insights in using digital image processing techniques to help the agricultural industry in Bicol region. Second, researchers use sophisticated equipment to build the project, such as using Phantom 4 professional drone attached with a 20 megapixels camera to navigate and capture the images. And using these devices, it costs a lot to implement the project for small-scale industry like pili farming. So the result of the pili fruit detection using the method is not yet sufficient to estimate how many pili fruits are expected to be harvested, since only the top and front view of the pili tree was captured. And finally, for the observation, the researchers indicated some manual processes for image manipulations using Photoshop, which introduced alteration or modification of the images in the evaluation of the model's efficiency and accuracy. As alternative solutions to what was proposed by the previous research. First, the researchers should have used low-cost equipment and tools since pili growers may not have adequate funds to purchase the required devices for the detection process. Second, the breakdown of the cost should have reflected as reference if the project is cost effective or not. Third, as an alternative, ripe fruit detection can be done after fruits are harvested. In that way, the following manual processes after ripe pili fruit classification can be automated. The sorting of fruits according to their maturity. Digital counters can also be implemented to the device so that yield can be computed right away. And finally, manual intervention like Photoshop to enhance the accuracy of the model should be eliminated, and the algorithm should process the original images to generate the actual results. So aside from the presented prior arts, I have also reviewed all the existing machines available in the province. The devices may have published or unpublished, and therefore I utilized other methods of searching them using a more general search criteria. There, I found an article entitled Promising Technologies of Pili Processing by Embuscado from 2010, which mentioned the focus of the Philippine Center for Post-Harvest Development and Mechanization, spearheaded by the PhilMech and the Bicol University College of Agriculture and Forestry, or the BUCAF. They collaborated to identify the problems related to the pili industry. So the initiative gave birth to the development of mechanized devices and equipment, and to enumerate some, the harvester with cutter, collecting net, depulping machine, peely nutcracker, the Tesla removal machine, and the oil extractor. So this is where I confirmed that there is no existing sorting machine created even before. And this finding lead me to the idea that I can continue with my research about automating the Philly sorting as a process. There you go. So I hope you've learned something from this video about doing a prior search so that you are certain on your idea if you are going to push through or not. So please stay tuned to the upcoming uploads as I break down what to consider for effective research and share my best practices using concrete examples. Ako ang inyong Inhinyerong Bolero and see you on my next video. God bless everyone.